Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. I'm starting a new series here. It is Should It Stay or Should It Go? I'm just looking at this album cover and it looked weird. So what I'm doing is I'm basically going through my music collection. I know I started a series way back when I first started my channel, going through my whole collection A to Z, and I got to the J's. I think the last video I actually did was for Billy Joel, and then I kind of went off and didn't continue it. So I think I want to start that again, going through my collection again, but also what I want to do is I'm going through my collection and looking at those albums that I don't really listen to, that I'm not that familiar with, I bought, listened to once, and ended up back in there. And I'm going to decide if it should stay or should it go. So yeah, it's a play off of the Clash song. But I'm going to, it's a good way for me to listen to these albums, see if I really want to keep it in my collection. And I've already listened to a couple. This will be the first video, and I'm putting things in perspective as far as what I want in my collection. And I'm able to make a pretty good decision based off that. Trying to separate, I should just have it in my collection because I have a collection. No, I want a collection where I like everything, with the exception of, like, you know, if I collect an artist, they might have a couple albums I don't really care for. I'll keep them because I'm collecting that artist. That's a whole different thing. But if I have a band that I like one or two of their albums, and I have, you know, some stuff in there that I'm like, then I have to make that decision. It should probably go. So anyway, so the first one that I'm starting off with is this Aerosmith that came out a year or two ago. The Road Starts Here. And it's kind of a neat thing. This is really good for like the Aerosmith collector, definitely, because it's, from what I understand is they just let a tape roll when they were rehearsing somewhere. In fact, there was something in here that they made the sleeve look like a package, and it has an address on here that says, for information on the recording or the artist, please contact Mr. Joseph Perry, 1325 Commonwealth Avenue, apartment 22, Boston, Mass. And there's a phone number there. And there's a set list here that they wrote down, and they made a tape. And I'm assuming it wasn't in that apartment. I can't imagine they were doing this in an apartment. Maybe they had somewhere that they played, but what it is they let the tape roll, and in the beginning you hear them just talking and bantering, and Joe Perry was tooling around the guitar and all that stuff. So it's pretty neat. So for an Aerosmith fan, this is like something that I definitely would suggest. The quality is good for what it is. I mean, it's on a tape and they just let the tape roll, but there's alternate versions of songs, and just get to hear what they probably sounded like if you went to go see them in a bar back in the day. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, so there's the front of it. Road Starts Here. It is a gatefold, so you always have to show that. There you go. Some early pictures of them, and then your set list and all that. So it has 8 tracks on it. Seems like a lot of these songs, actually it's 7 tracks if you think about it, because the first one is just like an intro of them tooling around. It's not even a song, so there's 7 tracks. And a lot of it ended up on their first album, the one that's just Aerosmith. So it has the song Somebody that ended up on the Aerosmith album. Reefer Head Woman, that ended up on Night in the Ruts live album. I think they have a Live in the Ruts 1 and 2 from what I understand. So that's where that came from, but here's an early version of it, them working that song out. Then Walking the Dog, which ended up on the Aerosmith album. Moving On, first Aerosmith album. Major Barbara, am I right? Night in the Ruts? Yeah, because there's a Classics Live. Am I getting Night in the Ruts and Classics Live mixed up? I'm going to consult real quick here. No, you know what? Night in the Ruts is not. Isn't Night in the Ruts a studio album? So that is wrong. I'm going to call myself out and not edit that right now. But I am going to look this up real quick. Yeah, Night in the Ruts, isn't that the one where they look like they're down in a mine or something like that? Okay, yeah, so so it wasn't a studio album. Okay, so that's my bad. I was trying to remember everything here, but I'll call myself out right here. So Reefer Head Woman ended up on Night in the Ruts. That's where that song ended up as far as an album. That's Major Barbara was on Classics Live, and I think Classics Live. Is that the one that I'm thinking of now? Where they, let me go back, where there's 1 and 2. I think there's a Classics Live 1 and Classics Live 2. I think that's what it was. So that's what I was thinking of. Sorry about that. And you Aerosmith fans can call me out or whatever, but yeah. Dream On's on there, which is on the first album, and Mama Kin is on there. Like I said, it's cool to see how they did it. Dream On, they really did a good job. It's a straight through, like if they were playing it live, so it's pretty neat. And you've got the original lineup, and I think the bass player left, and they replaced him later or something, from what I understand. I think it was the bass player. So Steve Tyler's on there. He's lead vocals, harmonica, percussion, flute, and piano. Yeah, there's a flute part in there, a little Jethro Tull influence, maybe, you know. It's pretty cool. Joe Perry's doing the guitar and backup vocals, Brad Whitford on guitar, Tom Hamilton on bass, which I think is the guy that ended up being replaced later, and Joey Kramer on drums. So it originally was recorded in October of '71 in Boston, Mass, and it was released 2021. So it's actually been out for 4 years. Wow, I thought it was not that long ago. That's interesting. It's let's see, when I listen to it, and this is where I start going, okay, do I want to keep it? You know, I have I think Pump on CD. I'm not a completist as far as when it comes to Aerosmith. So this is what I'm looking for, like what's going to draw it in. Sometimes the music is so good I don't mind the lyrics, or sometimes, you know, there's a mix of things that makes me, or if it's recorded so well, you know, it makes me go, okay, the lyrics aren't that important at times. Even though I'm like a lyric person, I need to give me a story in these songs. So the lyrics were okay. They're like kind of simplistic, with the exception of Major Barbara and Dream On. I thought those 2 songs were a little more mature. The other ones are just Steven Tyler, you know, kind of doing his just rhyming words, and, you know, it's okay, you know, kind of thing. But those 2, like I said, Major Barbara and Dream On, were a little more mature, had more of a story and things like that. Dream On, I think, is really cool lyrics in that song too. You hear a lot of the what was the song? Crying. I love that part in the song Crying. Of course, this is years later, where Steven Tyler is singing and harmonizing right along with Joe Perry's guitar, where he's like, I think I need your love, and he's bending it with his voice and the guitar strings at the same time. It's really cool. They do some of that on here too, which is kind of neat to see. They were doing it from the beginning as far as harmonizing with the lead guitar, you know, playing the same melody as the guitar with the voice. So that's kind of cool. That's on there. It's a raw, unclean recording. It sounds like it was definitely recorded in a small room. You got a little echo in there, but it definitely sounds like, I was in a band at one time and it reminded me of that, where you had that little echo sound. So it's pretty cool. The band's tight. I mean, there's a lot of talent running through these guys, no doubt. And it, yeah, she was recorded October '71. Did I say that? Yeah, recorded '71. So it's kind of cool to see how tight they were and how talented they were from the get-go. You can hear some conversation during the performances. They're singing and there's somebody's saying something. Can't really make it out, but I don't know if they're calling out something or whatever. We can hear it, and it sounds like they're just having fun doing the recording. It's just good, solid rock and roll. And I would say this is a great album for completists, like I said before. This is the album you want to get if you're into this band and you want to know their origins and things like that. This is perfect for that person. And it's a nice snapshot of a young and hungry band that, you know, had a lot of energy. They wanted to, you know, get out and rule the world kind of thing. I think that's what's captured here also. So putting all that together, as far as what I heard and what I think and what I want to do with my record collection, this album is gonna go, actually. It's, like I said, it's a good snapshot, perfect for those Aerosmith fans. Just not me. I'm more like that 80s Aerosmith. I like Toys in the Attic too. I have that either on vinyl or CD. I have that, and then I have Pump, and there's a couple 80s that I want, and I have a compilation, and that's what I think I need of Aerosmith, because I have gone through their discography, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be a completist, but there's definitely some albums I want. So this is an album And I look at it this way. This is going to go back out, and somebody who wants this album, it's going to end up in the right hands. You know, they're going to have this and enjoy it. So that's what this is for. No need in me keeping it around. I'm not going to listen to it, really, just not. And get it in the hands of somebody who will love it, kind of thing. So there you go. That's my first album review for Should It Stay or Should It Go? Hopefully that's what I'm calling it. I guess you'll look at the title and see if I named it something different, but something like that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. And as you can see, I didn't record it, but I went on a little walk without the talk. So I'll have to get back to my walk and talk soon, because I do miss those and the weather is nice out. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're enjoying your music. And until next time, you take care out there, right? Bye.